Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to go over the protectors and the best heroes in this synergy. So the first and the best protectors is going to be obviously the newest one, which is the Babylon. The issue itself is Babylon isn't really played in Protector, she's mostly played in the Monarchs because with her healing passive and with Monarchs how they work, she basically recovers all the HP they can take, so it's kind of like immortal kind of team thing going on between her and the Monarch, so she's actually a Protector, but in reality she's only played with Monarchs. This doesn't necessarily mean she can't be played with Protectors, but it's just she's not that good in them, especially because there's no that good protector dooms. So for example, we only really have Lamia that is a truly good doom unit and the protector, but Lamia herself requires a lot of things played around her to properly work. And then another Doom Protector is going to be Madeline, but she herself is not really good. So that pretty much leaves Babylon only truly good Doom Protector, and as I said, she really fits the Doom Monarchs because of the way that her entire kit is basically made. She is one of the best heroes most recently released. She's too strong even in Rift Odyssey, even in a lot of content really, and to be consistent in the PvP she does require 12 stars in my opinion, and her max HP does conversion work, but it has to be damage taken and then damage healed, unlike the attack conversion. So attack conversion works the way it just any healing will work, but the max HP conversion has to be damage taken and then healed up, so that's yet another great reason why she works with the Monarchs better than with the Protectors. Then another unit is going to be Odin. Odin is one of those strongest heroes in the game just simply because of her Holy Shield deniability, just because of her Pandora like passive that enables snowball upon the kill, and because of her insane scaling on the Oath Force. So she's truly a dream come true in terms of kit. Is she a true protector? Well, yes, and she doesn't necessarily have to be. She can be played in a lot of protector-based teams. You can also make protector Mystifiers right now, but in reality she's mostly played with Valiantors. Whether you play the normal Valiantors or the protector version Valiantors, she will fit that team because she's quite unique and she's really good hero. She's AoE and she can slot pretty much any team, but she is mostly played in the protectors and mostly as a tank because of her scaling and because of her Holy Shield negation, which then further enables her one of the better pairs in my opinion, which is going to be Wukong, because, well, disabling enemy Holy Shields further enables Wukong because Wukong loves killing opponents, and that thus enabling even more with Odin's Oath for skill, which is casting additional skill again once the enemy hero dies. Then we have Ascended Bastet and Gaia, the two Mystifier protectors. Both are great and mostly both are played together, although Bastet is a protector. I don't really see her as one because she converts all of the AoE skills into a single skill, which doesn't really make sense for the protectors. Protectors love taking hits, and because of that they repost with a basic attack, so when they receive an active attack is kind of not going to happen because of the Bastard's AoE skill into the one single unit conversion. So this doesn't really make much sense for the protectors unless you're running some kind of weird version of protectors that only really want to live in a way and scale up, but currently, because the defense stat is fake in itself, which is basically the entire protector's kit, increasing the defense by 15%, which is worse than strikers, but at least they have a secondary passive that is not all that terrible. Because that is useless, then the scaling protectors don't really exist, apart from Wukong, which can scale, and Odin as well. But they can do that even without the Ascended Bastet. And then Gaia can be used in any team. Truly, her speed manipulation is great, her damage increase and damage ignore reduction is also amazing, so whether you slot her with Mystifiers, with Protectors, or even with Ethereals, you won't be making a mistake, it's just a matter of preference. Then Amaterasu, as I said in the previous video, I believe I was talking about her in the tier list. So amazing hero, fits 3 different versions, main ethereals, second ethereals, and then protectors. Really great, especially with Wukong and Venus, truly one of the better heroes right now. And lastly we have Hades, which I don't really like in protectors, and to explain why, it's because the repost that he doesn't really contribute as a damage that will affect the Soul Devourer. So after Hades takes action, he actually does have to take action, so anything that is considered a basic attack repose won't work. So this is why I personally dislike Protector Hades and I try to stay away from it. So I don't really dislike, like, he's the best protector hero, but he's not the best protector, so I would kind of put him even in here, like strong in condition type hero. So it's either in here, or in here. So yeah. Then we have Bahamut. Bahamut is amazing, one of the better protectors in my opinion. She's also can be transcendent, thus giving you 2 Glorians. And then with another Glorian, which is mostly a Fate hero. Oh, I also forgot to change this. So, but mostly with the Fate hero, you can actually have 3 or 4 Glorians for your protectors, which is really crucial because you don't want your protectors to be CC'd. If your protectors get CC'd, they won't be able to do the repost attack. Therefore, their entire synergy kind of becomes useless. Additionally, why Bahamut is so great with protectors is because of the HP increase and because of the tremor effect, which is a CC. A lot of these protectors, as you can see, do lack CC apart from the Babylon, which, as I said, is mostly played with the Monarchs. So yeah, they do lack CC, they do lack sustain, they do lack protection. Therefore, tremor effect and the HP increase is kind of great from Babylon, as well as the CC immunity. Wukong, I have talked about him, really can fit with Odin amazingly. They're one of my favorite combos in the game right now, or rather not right now, but in the past. And then we have Diana. Diana is truly great, but what I hate about Diana is the fact that she's a deviant hero. It kind of makes it hard to fit celestial protectors in a team, because you only really have Odin that is a celestial protector, whereas Wukong, Gaia, Hades, even Babylon, Diana, and almost everyone is pretty much like a demon. So you often end up using Karnak just because he's a celestial, and yeah, even Liandra is a demon, so it's just simply just Odin or Amaterasu or Karnak. So it's really hard to get 2 deviants. I wish she was a deviant, which would make her really easy to fit. And then I'm going to actually move Lamia in here. I do believe that she's losing value, and I'm going to put her after Karnak or even after the Lancelot, because Karnak is still usable if you got his legendary runes. Without legendary runes, I do not think you should be using him. But with legendary runes, same goes for the Lancelot. With legendary runes, they're both useless, but the same rule applies to the Lancelot as it does to the Hades, I believe. So yeah, when Lancelot takes action, so yeah, once again, the same rule applies for the Lancelot that does for the Hades. It actually has to be his action, so therefore he doesn't really fit the protectors as much as the other heroes do. So you would rather run him in the Mystifiers than in the protectors or in any other team really, because he just kind of wastes the passive of the protectors. Then we have Lamia, which is not really run with protectors at all in my opinion. She's too conditional with Sanctuary, and I do believe she does require Ophelia on her team along with the other 2 Sanctuary relics. So I don't think she's made to be a protector. She's more like a doom filler with a lot of conditional things around her to actually work. With her legendary runes though, she could be far better, but that's quite expensive and only if 50% chance, as well as Amnesia is kind of easy to remove nowadays. And then lastly we have Liandra. Liandra is a really solid hero. I would put her above Lamia even, and perhaps even in the strong in condition tier. So I think this suits her more because she really is a great hero. She's not weak, she does kind of good damage, she does kind of nice sustain to the team, and she's a good initial hero. So she initials the actions really good because of her passive, which eats the Radiant Crystal. So she's a good enabler, especially for Diana and Odin and Wukong, but as I said, that's a lot of deviants, and then you're kind of left with slotting in only 1 celestial remaining, and then that doesn't really make much of a synergy, so that's the issue. She's kind of hard to slot, but she's not necessarily a bad hero in that sense. And then we have the solid early game and the mid game heroes. So these heroes are usable, but they won't do you any good. And then we have the outdated slash useless, which is definitely Marina. And then we have the tier which is usable with 4 protectors. So we have Pandora, because 4 protectors basically allow you to hit back enemies. Pandora does work wonders in them. She also follows up on the protector's basic attacks with her ultimates. The same goes for the Mulan and Lee as well. So these 3 heroes are my recommendations. If you have a filler to do, then either of the 3 heroes I do suggest going with. Hecate can kind of work too because of her nuke potential, but is not recommended. I would move her after Sheng. Sheng is great because she does kind of initiate the damage, especially with the Liandra, so she's a Celestial, she can feed the slot. So having a Phantom Illusion kind of helps them, and as well pairs with her ultimate spam with Liandra and the Diana spam, as well with Odin. So a lot of ultimate spam going on in that team. And then lastly we have Gloria, and the only reason why I include Gloria is because of her legendary exclusive runes, which not many people have, but they're kind of good because they do nice sustain and bring the illusion, and illusion is a quite good but RNG effect, so it will be tricky to use her, especially because she does require legendary runes. But another great passive she does is when Gloria is deployed, each one stack of buffs gained by our allies will additionally increase the target's max HP by 10%, so up to 150 max HP increase to all allies. And then yet another great effect from her is when Gloria is alive, she reduces enemies' damage dealt to frontline allies by 50%. So yeah, she brings sustain to the protectors, which is what they truly do need, but it's like a last resort to use. So when ranking the Fate heroes for the protectors, I'm going to put the Victoria first, then Lucifer, and then Hela, and then Cleopatra. I do believe that's the best case because Victoria's basic attack is simply the strongest, and it also heals all allies, so she's simply the best protector if you are going to use her with one of these teams. So that was it for the protectors. Hopefully you have learned something new, and see you guys in the next video, which is probably going to be Monarchs or Phantoms. I will see about that. Probably Monarchs because we do have an upcoming Phantom Heroes, which I do kind of want to test before theory bombing them. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys in the next one.